When I arrived in America in 1984, in the late summer, I had to set up a new photography and video department. I didn't know what I was going to teach the students in the college, because they're very bright students, a bit worried about it. They were, you know, they were majors in economics and political science and all sorts of things, and art was something they did as well, or those who wanted to do it. They went on to Harvard and places like that, so I mean it was very, you know, it's quite challenging. And so I thought, I've got to do something that brings them all together. Well, it was the time of the elections for the presidential elections in November, and Reagan got in again. You know, it was morning in America twice for him. Anyway, I thought of an idea, and I thought, what about going down to Washington to see the inaugural? Is there any way of getting into it in January, in the following January 1985? So I went to see a local senator, congressman, and I said, is it possible to get any tickets for this? And he said, well, what you want is the inaugural ball for young Americans, by which I presumably meant young Republicans. And so I said, oh yes, please. And somehow we managed to get tickets for myself and my wife and the students, a bunch of students, to go down there and make a sort of documentary about the inaugural. So we had photography students there, and also students with video cameras, and we were going to put the whole thing together. And then I had this idea that maybe we should, you know, make a video of this inaugural ball if we get in to do it. And in fact we did, and in fact I wrote something down for an art magazine here which I come across, which is published in New York. It says, our invitation to the ball arrived in the form of a telephone call from inaugural headquarters in Washington. The big event, the inaugural ball for young Republicans, although it just said Americans. When we arrived, the young Republicans were pushing to get in. It was rumoured that the King and Queen would arrive and depart early. Inside, I scanned the confusion. Before us unfolded a scene from a high school production of Gone with the Wind, and we zeroed in on a tight space between a CBS and an MTV crew. On a stage below, an MC was warming up the proceedings. And all you gals out there, do you want your husbands to look after you when you get married? Yes, they chorused. And do you want to go out and work? No way. And do you all want hubby to be the boss? Yes, they all screamed. Then the Marine band struck up Hail to the Chief. All that sort of stuff. And the TV lights went on, and a phalanx of Secret Service men moved onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and Mrs. Reagan. Our hearts throbbing, we hit our record buttons. The Blue Danube welled in our ears, and before us, the most powerful man in the world and his wife waltzed as we danced our cameras to the music. And I got the students to move the camera so they went, and it waltzed very slowly, because you had to move the camera very slowly, because the slightest movement is exaggerated on a movie camera. So anyway, we did that, and it just welled up, and off we went. Got back, we coordinated it all and put it together and edited it together. And one of my students, she was a political scientist major as well as an art major, a double major she had, and she said, oh, the professor didn't like my film at all, or the film we made. He didn't like the show. I said, really? He said, no. I said, who's that? He said, Professor Graver. I said, really? Didn't he? I said, oh, I'll speak to him about it. And she said, well, you can't really, you can't do that. I said, why is that? She said, he's left the college. I said, really? I said, why is that? She said, he's just been hired as one of President Reagan's new special advisors.